Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com. The very quick first impressions gameplay video for Final Fantasy 15: A New Empire, a free-to-play strategy game developed and published between MachineZone and Square Enix partnership. I'll spend about probably 5 minutes running around checking this game out. Make some comments if you guys do want to play Final Fantasy 15: A New Empire or just learn more about it. Do check out the full review on MMOs.com on the link below. So let's go and get started. We are playing this on an Android emulator right now, and as you can very quickly see, the game is very similar to other browser strategy games. So we can see our quests over here, we got to upgrade our base and whatnot. If this looks all very similar to you, it's because it's the exact same game as MachineZone's Mobile Strike as well as Game of War. Basically the same exact game with a Final Fantasy 15 skin attached to it, so you will see your favorite characters from the game such as Noctis and whatnot, plus Final Fantasy music in the background as you play. So it is quite actually the same exact game with just a reskin to it. And as a fan of Final Fantasy games, I've been playing them for many years. My first one was Final Fantasy 7. I've played everything since then, and played some of the older ones as well after that. It is a little bit disappointing and disheartening to see a game like this. Only because I kind of expect really great things from Square Enix, some story-driven content, some amazing stuff. And here we have a game that's pretty shallow and is the same kind of content we've seen over and over again with a lot of these mobile games. But I'm not really surprised that Square Enix did this, and I'm not surprised anyone did this, because I want to give you some context about this game. First, let me explain again what exactly this is. It's very similar to MachineZone. Players essentially build their bases out, train units, and fight each other with many different ways to upgrade their units and whatnot and their heroes. The core gameplay here again is going to be base building. Unfortunately though, I do find the core gameplay in these kind of games not bad. They're kind of fun. Now we gotta build a farm, and the farm gets more food. It's one of the many resources we have at the top over here. I find the core gameplay kind of fun. I played these kind of games years ago, but I stopped playing them after I realized every single one is free to play. Let me speed this. Nope. In order to speed up, you got to pay money. So we're going to leave that alone as a research. And all these little plots you can build quarries on, farms on. These just get you more resources and whatnot. And again, if you've played any of these browser-based or mobile strategy games, the core gameplay here is very similar. Like there's different quests you can do. I got to click on these real quick. If you click on this button over here, you should be able to see the world map view over here, the realm view. You can attack your neighbors, build troops, take over their bases, and again, all very similar matter. But I want to talk about the reason behind this game and the reason this game even exists. I mean, you would think it's a major sellout. It's ridiculous. It's stupid that they would make a game that's identical to MachineZone's other games. But the reason they're doing this is there's a lot of money involved in this business. I mean, incredible amounts, mind-boggling amounts. So to give you some context, Square Enix, they make a lot of they make some MMOs. They make Final Fantasy 14, they make Final Fantasy 11, they make Dragon Quest 10, I believe. There's 3 MMOs that they make, and between all 3 of those games, they made about $200 million US out of all 3 games combined in 2016, which is last year. And if you look at Game of War, it's one mobile game that this game is a reskin of. Essentially, the company that made this game also made Game of War. That one game, Game of War, makes about $600 million a year. That's 3 times every single MMO Square Enix owns. And this one game, Game of War, makes like 3 times as much money as Square Enix on those 3 games, which is absolutely nuts on a single mobile game. Which is why you're seeing Square Enix partner with MachineZone. There's so much money involved in these mobile strategy games that Square Enix wants to get a piece of that pie. And you really can't blame them. So I do suspect a lot of Final Fantasy fans will give this game a try, and many will quit, but there is some overlap between people that like these strategy games and Final Fantasy fans, which is why this game kind of exists in the first place. Though this is definitely not my cup of tea. It's a game I actually tried downloading it and playing it on my own device. I'm playing on an emulator right now, so you're seeing all the newbie content. But I played for like an hour on my phone, and it's the same old stuff I've seen in MachineZone's Mobile Strike and Game of War. And these kind of games are just not my cup of tea, namely because they are entirely pay to win. Players who spend money can instantly build stuff in their base. They can instantly train more troops. They can instantly get more resources. And essentially, if you throw enough money at the game, you can always defeat your enemies. And it leads to this weird arms race where players spend thousands and thousands of dollars. There's actually a news story that some guy spent over $1 million on Game of War. And it was money he stole from his company, but he still spent over $1 million. And people spend so much money on these games trying to win. And it's a race I personally don't want to get into. But I can see the casual fun of these games. If you don't take them too seriously, and you don't want to throw too much money at it, you can still have fun playing these games. And if you like Final Fantasy and you like these strategy games, I mean, why not play this one, right? The theme here is more interesting. You have the Final Fantasy characters, you have the music. It's based on Final Fantasy 15, so you have the Final Fantasy 15 stuff. So if you like the two genres, if you like Final Fantasy 15 and you like this genre, I say check the game out. But if you're just another, if you've played any kind of game like this before, there's really no need to jump back into this one. It's the same exact game as we've seen. Anyway, yeah, that's really it for Final Fantasy 15: A New Empire. I am curious to see how it's going to do, though. So expect that update on my news videos in the future or in the podcast about the financial success or failure of this game. As is, the game is sitting around the top 100 of the highest grossing list on Apple iOS, so it's already off to a pretty decent start. I mean, people are spending money. There are bases already. There are a lot of people playing this game, so there are millions of downloads already between iOS and Android. So it's doing quite well already. But we'll see if it has the same staying power as some of the other big strategy games. But yeah, if you guys do want to play Final Fantasy 15: A New Empire or just learn more about it, do check out the full review on MMOs.com on the link below as always. Anyway. Later, guys.